Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a long time since I've uploaded a video, but school has been kind of hectic right now, and I've got a lot more things on my mind to worry about besides just my YouTube channel, like Pythagorean's theorem, the fact that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. So today, I know, despite the fact this is my long-awaited return, I'm not talking about a specific Hot Wheels car, but I am going to be talking about certain vehicles. Let's talk about Transformers. Now, Transformers, if you're not aware of it, is a toy line developed by Hasbro, owned by Hasbro, and developed by Takara in Japan, which is basically just a bunch of robots that turn into cars. The heroic Autobots, led by Optimus Prime, and the evil Decepticons, led by Megatron. And it's just like Hot Wheels. This has been one of my favorite franchises of all time. And so basically, when I was 3 years old, that was around the time when the Bumblebee movie, or not the first Transformers live-action movie was coming out. So, from that first Signal Flare figure, I knew this is going to be one of my favorite things of all time, even though I was only 3 or something. It was 2007, okay guys, come on. Anyway, so, today we're talking about Tiny Turbo Changers. Tiny Turbo Changers is basically Hasbro's attempt to get in on the whole blind bag figures craze. Except the whole blind bag craze is kind of over now. I mean, I don't know, anyone remember that craze? It used to be blind bag everything. Like, any line that had little figures had some sort of blind bag thing. I don't know, Lego minifigures is still going on. But then there was stuff like, I don't know, Playmobil had it, Mega Bloks had it. All sorts of stuff had it. In fact, actually, Transformers had blind bags before. Tiny Turbo Changers, kind of like an offshoot of the Tiny Titans line. This is the only Tiny Titan I own. This is Skybite. And that was released as part of the 2015 Robots in the Sky series. Unfortunately, the Tiny Titans suck. No posability, they don't transform. They're just really meant for display only. So then, when the Last Night toy line when the Last Night came around, I saw a toy channel by Show and Tell Toys, shout out to you guys, and they were doing a review on the Tiny Turbo Changers. So I'm thinking to myself, oh great, like some weird Transformers blind bag thing. Like, I don't see, around this time they released the horrible idea that was the one-step changers. They renamed them Turbo Changers. I'm thinking, oh great, downscaled one-step changers, just what I need in my life. But then I saw them pull out a fully posable, fully transformable crosshairs out of a little bag, and I was instantly hooked on this toy line. The figures were divided as of October 2018, into 4 waves of 12 figures each, consisting. And there's also one Target exclusive multi-pack, which I'll also talk about in this video. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get on with wave 1. So, I'm not really going to talk much about each individual figure. I'll just talk a little bit about it, and then transform it, and then do whatever. So, here we have Optimus Prime. This is him from his Age of Extinction / Last Night body. This is actually a licensed Western Star truck toy, which I'm genuinely surprised. And he has 4 exhaust pipes on the back instead of 6. Outrage. And he actually has a little coupling thing here, so I've actually been able to build a fully functional trailer for this thing that even opens up into a combat deck like the original G1 toy, but I think I misplaced that. But yeah, it actually fits on there and you can tow it. So transform, you just lift that up and then the arms just fly out and you can fold that back and you can rotate them down. So here's Optimus Prime. As you can see, the paint's kind of weathered on this thing, but he has fully functional arms. And most of these figures, they don't have the ability to move their legs, which sucks, but I think it's just cool for the novelty of things. So, here's Optimus Prime. And then we got Bumblebee. This is based off his Last Night body. And this is actually a fully licensed Camaro. You can see if this focus, but it actually does have the Chevrolet logo. Like right there. You can't really see it very well on camera, I think, but it's there, trust me. So transform him. You pull out these little side panels, and then you flip that down. This moves up. You rotate the waist around. And then the instructions tell you to leave it here, but I don't really like that look, so I put this down, fit this through there, and then hold that back up, because there's actually enough space to fit it there. It creates a much more sleek-looking robot mode, I think. So, here's Bumblebee. Fully functional arms. Swiveling waist, even though the way I transform it hinders that, but if you were to do it like the instructions, it would have a fully functional swiveling waist, so you can look around. So, it is Bumblebee. Here we have Sideswipe. Yeah, everyone remembers Sideswipe, right? And this is actually one of my favorite figures in the first line. It's really creative. So this is not an actual licensed Corvette Stingray. Just pointing that out. So, you fold this back up, pull out the little side panels, and then there's this robot mode. Now, I think the really clever part about this toy is that they actually get even wheels for feet, and that there's also doubles the front tires of the car. See, I don't know, the Legends Sideswipe, he had just these fake wheels. Like, I don't have the actual Revenge of the Fallen Sideswipe toy, so I don't really know much about him or the Dark of the Moon one. But I do know that the Legends version just has fake wheels for feet. Like, they're not even really painted or anything. They're just little gray circles on his feet. They're supposed to be like wheels, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really work that well. So, like with the others, he does have fully functional swiveling arms. Even this little back panel doesn't really allow him to do that very well. And he doesn't have sculpted swords, but it has these little side panels here, like it's kind of like door kibble, and there's this little point here. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but you can use it as little molded swords if you want to. And yeah. One thing I want to point out in these figures is the amazing sculpting on these things. Like, geez, look at this. And most of them are actually pretty cool looking in robot mode. Because here we have Starscream, and this is his Revenge of the Fallen deco with all the tattoos on him. So, to transform him, his arms are just underneath the wings, so you pull those out, and his legs are right behind here, so you flip those down. And here's Starscream in his robot mode. And one thing I hate about this figure is the nose cone goes right between the legs. Just pointing that out. So, those have fully functional arms, and I guess he can kind of sit down, even though this nose cone kind of hinders that, but pretty cool looking. Blackout. You know, everyone remembers Blackout, right? He's famous for getting shot in the crotch. So, to transform him, these little side things are his arms, so you just kind of pull those out, and then this, yeah. This is actually my second Blackout, because someone I know didn't know how to transform this thing, even though it's pretty self-explanatory. I even threw out the instructions, which is something I almost never do. And he just ended up pulling the whole leg off. These things are made out of soft vinyl plastic, which sucks, because that means they're kind of flimsy. So yeah, this is my second Blackout figure. But, I don't know, pretty nice sculpting. The only paint app, really, is on the rotors, which do not spin. And by the way, the wheels on these things do not turn. The rotor does not spin, even though it's actually a wholly separate piece, apparently. I don't know what they were thinking. And really, other than that, the only paint app is on his head. These figures don't really have very good paint apps at all. Like, most of the paint apps are just the eyes and then the tires on the car mode. Some of them don't even get that luxury. But anyway, here's Blackout. Fully functional arms. Moving on. Here's Hound. This is his Last Night body. And he has the cannons from his Legion and one-step toy that were not present in the actual film. To transform him, you just fold out, and then this little thing flips back. This is a really, it's definitely one of the better painted figures in the first wave. As you can see, his beard is painted, his whole face and eyes are painted, and there's a little paint there on his torso. And then, yeah. And of course, really nice back sculpting. Just really nice sculpting in general. It's a pretty awesome figure. So here's Grimlock. And unlike every other Grimlock toy from the last night, he is in his Age of Extinction colors. And I remember being super disappointed because for some reason the Age of Extinction Dinobots were in these bright pastel colors. And that really irked me because they were just gray in the film. So Grimlock's in his Age of Extinction gold here. And it's a pretty nice looking T-Rex mode. But the robot mode feet are right there. And you get used to it after a while. And transform them. You just pull the dino head apart, and it being a Grimlock toy, the legs become the arms. A bit of creativity on the designer's behalf. The T-Rex tail becomes this little head spike in robot mode. And pretty good paint apps, I guess. Just like with every other figure, they can move their arms. Here we have Lockdown. Everyone remembers Lockdown, right? So, this is an unlicensed Lambo alt mode. In the transform him, these little side panels fold up, and then this flips up. And then these just kind of go off the side. This is how the official Hasbro stock images show it. So when I got the toy, I'm like, why is his shoulders on his head? But then I found out a while later that his legs are actually, you can like pull them down to get a more proportionate robot mode. And because of this is my favorite figure from the first line. It's because how awesome it looks. And he has his battle mask deployed, which kind of sucks, but whatever. And then, I don't know, like, they show you're supposed to just do this with the arms, but there's a little crevice there, so you can just tuck them back in there, I don't know. That's what I do. And, you know, it's got... And since Lockdown is technically a villain in Age of Extinction, I gave him the Decepticon symbol, even though he's not a Decepticon. So we have Soundwave in his Dark of the Moon car mode. And he transforms the same way as Bumblebee, so I'm not even really going to talk about it. And just like Bumblebee, you can tuck that back there if you really want to. It just doesn't work as well with Bumblebee due to plastic tensions, but whatever. So here's Soundwave. The only paint app in his remote mode are the eyes. But still, pretty good sculpting, I guess. And, pretty interesting figure. This is Crosshairs. And similar to his Legion toy, he does not have a spoiler on his car mode. But still. And transforms, you pull the sides out and you flip that back. And there's Crosshairs. Pretty good paint apps, I'd say. So then, there were two Alt Deco variant figures released for the toy line, and originally I wasn't going to buy those, but then I'm like, I'm a completionist, I have to get the other two. So here we have Night Strike Bumblebee, which is the classic movie trope of having Bumblebee's paint scheme reversed and calling it a Night Strike or Stealth Mode or something, but unlike how you think it's spelled, it's actually spelled like Night as in medieval knight. K-N-I-G-H-T instead of night like N-I-G-H-T. Which, I'm guessing that's intentional given how it's the last Night toy line. Either that or the creators are just stupid. So, you know, it's just Bumblebee in black and yellow, but he has a lot better paint apps than the other Bumblebee. Like, here's a side-by-side comparison. As you can see, he has more like chest paint, but I don't know, the paint doesn't really look that good. I mean, it's a stealth mode Bumblebee. It's pretty good, I guess. I don't know. I guess you can, like, if you really want to like play with these things, I like to repurpose the old decos as new characters. So, Nightbeat or something. I don't know. I've always said this is Nightbeat. So here we have Shadow Armor Grimlock. It's like Nemesis Prime, but if it were Grimlock. I really prefer this version over the original. Just because of how neat it looks. The purple looks really nice. And I repurposed this as like a Unicron, like one of Unicron's heralds, who takes on the form of Grimlock. For some reason, it talks like Venom in the new movie. With that deep, gravelly voice or something. And for some reason, they gave him blue eyes. I don't know why. Because I think he would look a lot cooler with the red eyes, don't you think? So, yeah, that's the entire first wave. And that was the only wave that I've been able to find at mass retail. See, I live in the middle of Kansas, which, if you don't know, is not the biggest state in the universe. Smack dab in the middle of the United States. At least I don't have to worry about hurricanes. And no, I'm not making fun of the victims of Hurricane Florence or anything. I'm just saying I don't have to worry about that. So, when Wave 2 was announced on wherever, I got so excited. I'm like, okay, finally, we got the other characters in the last night that were absent from first wave. And it never showed up here in Wichita. So then, when my family went on vacation to Arizona, and we went to Target to get some supplies we went to Arizona, so the Target in Arizona, for some, like, snacks and stuff, because we were going to be doing a lot of driving. I found Tank Turbo Changers Wave 2 in the toy aisle, and I actually screamed, they have Wave 2, and, like, it's like, my parents, like, they were in the clothing section or something, and they heard me, it's like, okay, something's going on. So, Wave 2, it's not the best wave, but I thought it was freaking awesome. So, let's just start out with the lame ones. So, they re-released Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. Basically, just Optimus Prime from the first line. Originally, I wasn't going to get these, so I left Arizona without Optimus or Bumblebee re-releases. Kind of like how I wasn't going to get the Alt Decos originally, but I did. However, I did find Wave 2 at a convenience store. Anyway, no, I was at my local Dillon's, and I was able to get Optimus and Bumblebee that way. So, as you can see, it definitely is not as weathered as my other Optimus, which is why if I were ever to play with these things as, like, staging an epic battle, this is the one I'd use, because it looks a lot better. But it's essentially just the same thing. No other changes. And then, of course, they also re-released Bumblebee. Pretty much no changes. Moving on. So then, move on to the new characters. So here we have Squeaks turning into his Vespa from the film, and the first guy to ever find these went through about 4 cases, count them, 4 cases, and he couldn't find Squeaks, leading about 90% of the Transformers fandom, including myself, to think this figure had been cancelled for safety reasons or something. And then I found it. And I found it. So, Squeaks transforms to his little Vespa scooter, which he never did in the film. But the Transformer, you fold this whole section up, and this is gonna fold down. And then the wheels, they kind of just attach and like that. So Squeaks is a pretty fun figure, and his arms don't move because I guess it would be too hard to put tiny little swivel joints in there. But, I don't know, it's pretty accurate to the animation model, I guess. And this one's definitely in scale with your last night premiere edition and whatnot. Because I wasn't really into deluxes at that time. But from the side, he looks like an old man in a wheelchair. Like, there's the legs, there's the beard, he's got little goggles. I don't know why, it just looks like an old man hunched over in a wheelchair from the side. Anyone else see that? And his Autobot symbol is on his crotch. Well, I guess it's better than Robot Heroes Cheetor with his Maximal symbol on his butt. So here we have Cogman, and this is in his Aston Martin body they never used in the film. So he transforms the same way as Lockdown. And this figure actually doesn't have an Autobot symbol sculpted on him, which is good for reasons I'll bring up later. And, yeah. Pretty neat figure, but unlike Lockdown, see, there, he has these little bars between his legs, which, I don't know why, but, I don't know, it just kind of hinders the look. But I do really like the smooth sculpting on this toy, and that is just amazing. This is Berserker. Everyone remembers Berserker, right? I mean, he's that one deluxe who just never sells. Never freaking sells. And, I don't know, of course, Berserker, if you wanted to buy a second one, you could repurpose this in the crankcase, but, I don't know. It's Berserker. And, let's just say, this is based off his weird monster truck alt mode from the One Step Changer toy, rather than the actual deluxe, like the deluxe's Chevy Suburban alt mode. But hey, still looks more like Berserker, or still looks more like Crankcase than Studio Series Crankcase does. But crash. So it transforms the same way as Bumblebee and Soundwave, except his back thing is too short to fit behind there. It's too short, and it gives him a fully functioning waist swivel. Yay! His arms don't really move that well, except you can't really see it very well on camera there. It's got pretty nice sculpting, but it's kind of hard to make it out on camera. He does have sculpted dreadlocks and everything. Another figure that falls victim to the horrible paint app syndrome. But they amend that in future waves, I think. Megatron. This is, of course, his last night body, turning into the really awkward Cybertronian jet. So, transform, yeah, fold those down and rotate them, and then this kind of folds up. It's a pretty nice looking robot mode. He's definitely one of the more proportionate Transformers in the line. And I like how the jet engines are directly beneath his arms, which I guess you could repurpose those as cannons, which I do. They look a heck of a lot like cannons. And unlike Optimus and Lockdown, his battle mask is undeployed, which is cool. Also, I think the only reason for that is because it gives him a little support in jet mode. So, a pretty neat little figure, but it's actually inaccurate to the official model, because he has spikes on both arms, when in the film he only has spikes on one arm. I'm assuming it's because the designers can't stand anything asymmetrical, so they had to add another spike to make it a little more symmetrical. But whatever. Also, he can't lay down on his back because jet wings. Hot Rod, unlicensed Lambo, transforms the same way as Bumblebee, which I guess is kind of fitting. But unlike Hot Rod in the film, no orange whatsoever on him. And instead of being navy, yeah, he's this weird gray color. Yeah, very weird. But still, pretty accurate to the official animation model. Just no other colors besides gray. I don't know what they're thinking behind it, but it's still a pretty fun figure. And I'm kind of glad they have it. Chopter. Now this is the one OC from the Tiny Turbo Changes line, which that was weird. I don't know what they were thinking. Of course, I saw this and I thought, oh, they have Grindor. Okay, but then the official listings came out for this thing as Chopter. Who's Chopter? There isn't a single other character in the Transformers universe named Chopter. Even though I think there's some minicon called Chopster who turns into an axe. Basically, it's just Blackout and Green, but they really stepped up their game with the paint apps. Unlike Blackout, whose really only paint app is the head. Come on, look at this thing. Let the head the same base screen, but the chest has all this nice paint apps, and the front windshield is actually this nice orange color. I mean, come on, look at this thing. It's awesome. Plus, I don't know why, but every time I see this character, I think he has a Cockney accent. Weird. Here we have Drift. This is Last Night coloration. Or, yes, Last Night body. But unlike Drift, who has a mostly black alt mode, they decided to make it all red, because reasons. So, it transforms the same way as Lockdown. And just like Cogme, has that weird little spreader bar beneath his legs. And this one definitely has some of the most flexible arm articulation of the bunch. But really, the only paint apps are on his face and his tires. Not even his eyes are painted. Unsettling. This is Sky Camo Starscream, and to those of you Transformers fans, this deco look a little bit familiar to you. Yeah, it's Thundercracker. But for some reason, I don't know why, I guess they didn't want the kids thinking this is a different character, so this is Sky Camo Starscream. But I just say it's Thundercracker. It's so obviously meant to homage movie Thundercracker. Like, the Legends toy from, I think, Revenge of the Fallen had the same exact plain deco with the red stripes right there. So it's just Thundercracker, this in a different name. Slightly better paint apps, and I really like the metallic blue that they got going for them. You can't really see it better. You can see it better in real life, but yeah, it's this nice metallic blue. Here we have Shockwave. And unlike the film, which has this gray deco, they have a more G1 homaging purple deco, which you think this would be more of a Wave 4 thing, with their G1 homages. But, nope, this is the Wave 2 version. And to transform them, you just fold those down. This little section here becomes the feet, and then rotate that around. And the prototype shown off at Toy Fair actually had this silver cannon on both arms, but they changed it to have this thing to make it more accurate to the animation model. Just a bit of trivia there. The red eye is kind of off-centered on mine. I don't know, I really like the gun, that's a nice thing. And apparently it's supposed to be a blade thing in the film, but it looks kind of like a gun-shield combo to me. Like, with rotating waist, I guess you could just like have him do that with the shield. You could use it as a shield or something. It just looks kind of like a shield to me. Feet articulation. Last but not least in Wave 2, Barricade. This is his last night body, of course. And the deluxe toy also had this, where you can put this little arm-mounted machine gun on the roof. But this one's permanent, you can't really remove it. Transforms the same way as Bumblebee. And I really like this figure. I like how it has sculpted tires on the back of the legs, and you can even fit his this little Gatling cannon from the film on his arm. But really, no paint-ups whatsoever besides eyes and tires. So overall, Wave 2 I thought was pretty decent, but... And then after that, there was this exclusive Target 3-pack, part of their Reveal the Shield toy line, not to be confused with the older Reveal the Shield thing from 2010. But basically, it was this nice redeco of Optimus, and this navy blue thing, a weird looking Bumblebee, and then the exclusive Steelbane with his nice dragon alt mode. So, fold those out from the side. This flips down, his dragon head goes beneath the crotch, and then the legs kind of fit there, and that tail folds up. It's a really cool looking figure. My only problem is that the arms pop off way too easily. And this 3-pack doesn't sell at all for some strange reason. In fact, my local Target still has at least 20 of the things. Like, seriously, buy them. And I guess if you really wanted to, if you're a junkie and you want to get a whole bunch of these, you can buy 11 other packs, and then you can have all 12 Guardian Knights from the movie. Except you'd have 24 of these other guys, which no one really cares about. But let me talk about the deco for a bit. And nice red tires. Anyone else hear something? I don't know. Whatever. And I don't know. They have this weird pattern all over them. It's part of the Reveal the Shield thing. Like, I don't remember tech specs in the 80s. They were like these little things. You could put a red piece of plastic over it, and it would show like a little graph. Well, they have a similar thing here. Where they had some little red weapons. I don't know where those are right now, but you could put that over there, and it reveals an Autobot symbol. But then on Steelbane, by being listed as both Autobot, on an Autobot, both the instructions and the package, it shows the Decepticon symbol on this toy. And like on his little dragon wings. I don't know why, but whatever. He was with a tail, I guess. So, that's really it for the exclusive 3-pack. It doesn't sell. Perfect for army building, I guess. If you want to army build your tiny turbo changers. I mean, come on, people, who does that? Besides, the pack is $10 a piece, so you have to spend a lot of money. So then Wave 3 was announced, and I got excited. Oh yay, tiny turbo changers is still a thing, and they didn't forget about it. But unfortunately, it took, like Wave 2, I haven't really seen much of it here in Kansas. But I was able to get it off eBay using a $50 eBay gift card that I got for my birthday. And, yeah. And then a couple weeks ago, these things showed up at a calendar store at my local mall. Of course they did. It's like, I buy them off eBay, and then they immediately show up. I did the same with Titan's Return Sea Spray. I bought the figure off Amazon, and then as soon as it arrived, the thing started showing up at my local Walmart, where it still hasn't sold. So, we get a whole bunch of new molds in this line, which I kind of appreciate. And there's a lot of the ones in Dark of the Moon here, which is pretty cool, I guess. So we have Sentinel Prime, of course, and yeah, no paint apps whatsoever on the car mode, or truck, whatever. I mean, like, come on, even Barricade had the decency to have the tires painted black. But this, no. I mean, I guess they're compensating for the amazing paint apps in vehicle mode, or in robot mode. So, he transforms pretty similarly to Optimus. You just fold those down, this little bar folds back, and then you can rotate the arms down. This robot mode is pretty decent, I guess. I don't know what this little silver tube thing is for. And he has nice blue windows in his face. It's okay. And do you remember Crossbone's suit from Captain America Civil War? How it had those little gauntlet things on it that you could use to punch stuff really hard? Well, it kind of has a similar situation going on here. I guess you could use that as a gauntlet. And he has the Autobot symbol on his shoulder. And the official promotional photo didn't show him with his little fists. Which, by the way, they have 3mm compatible fists, which means you can attach the Transformers Cyberverse weapons. No, not the current Transformers Cyberverse, but an old toy line from back in the day, where they had small little weapons. And I guess, to a lesser extent, I think the Action Master guns, but I don't have any Action Masters. So, I was kind of glad when the final product actually had those little fists, even though about 90% of them don't have very good holding capabilities. This is a pretty cool figure, I guess, and it's just okay. Here we have Evac, and this is meant to represent Evac from Transformers The Ride from Universal Studios. Hoorah! I'm standing up because I want to. So, our mate Evac over here. Like, I mean, come on, you know it's bad when they're homaging a freaking amusement park ride. Seriously, what? Anyway, it's just a blue redeco Crosshairs, just disappointing. But he actually has better paint apps than Crosshairs, and then his little trench coat is actually painted. I'm kind of a big fan of this blue deco. It looks pretty neat. And I just, honestly, I can't believe that they actually homaged freaking Evac from The Ride. Also, they didn't give him any eye paint apps, so kind of like Drift. He looks pretty soulless. Like, I don't remember that Thundercracker deco of Armada Armada Starscream and how it had those gray eyes that just stare into your soul. Here we have Silver Knight Optimus Prime. It's meant to homage that Target exclusive Silver Knight crap, which I don't have any of those toys. So, here's one. It's just this nice silver version of Optimus. And I like to repurpose this as an armorless Ultra Magnus. I mean, come on, you can totally see this as an armless Ultra Magnus, right? Also, he has better paint apps than Optimus, and that the bottom of his tires are painted. But really, just a silver Optimus, nothing really new, besides the deco. Ooh, another Bumblebee re-release. Don't worry, I said the last time this happens. Transforms the same way, of course. And there's one major difference in that they actually bothered to paint the bottoms of the tires here. I don't know why it took them so long. But yeah, it looks pretty cool, I guess. So then here we have Dinobot Slug, and this is the only Dinobot from Tiny Turbo Changers to not use the Age of Extinction colors. What? Which basically means when you get all the Dinobots, Slug is just kind of the odd one out, and that he's not purple and red. So, you can split the tail in half and rotate it around, and then you split the Triceratops head and just kind of pull it down. That makes the arms and whatnot. So Slug is this nice little thing here. And, yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, Slug in Triceratops mode has the derpiest looking face for any Beast Mode Transformer I've ever seen. Why is it so big? So here we have Autobot Dino. Anyone remember Mirage on Dark of the Moon and how he had to be called Dino for legal reasons? And how, because of them legal reasons, we never got a Dino toy except for that one random Cyberverse Sideways redeco that was released under the Prime toy line for some reason that I've only seen one of in my life, and I bought them. I bought it, and I realized too late that it was meant to be the Dark of the Moon version. But I did buy it. Also, they released the Legion evac under that line, which is just evac from the ride. Anyway, instead of getting a nice Ferrari mold, they just decided to redeco the Hot Rod mold in bright red. And, well, actually, his official name is Dino, which surprised me when when his figure was first announced. It's like, oh my gosh, they actually are making a Dino figure. Like, I don't know, the TF Wiki, they have these funny little captions underneath their pictures, and it's like, and we thought we'd never see another toy of him again. So, it's just Hot Rod in red, so I'm not going to bother with the transformation. And you just have soulless silver eyes. That's the only paint app besides the tires on this figure. Oh boy. Yeah, real nice. So this is Ratchet, and I don't get the neon green. It's just kind of an ugly color to look at. And the red grill, I don't know what's up with that. No other paint apps on the car mode at all. But hey, I'm glad they have a Ratchet toy. That's nice. So you fold that down, flip this over the head, and bam. Monkey arms. Pretty nice looking robot mode, but really the only paint apps are the grill and the eyes. Still has that same gauntlet situation going on. And just like barricading and sculpted tires on the back, that's pretty cool. And overall, pretty nice looking toy, I guess. So, they made another Barricade figure. Not just the last night, but we had to go all the way. This is Barricade from the first movie. Which, honestly, I'm kind of shocked. So, it's a pretty nice looking police car, and unlike the other one, it actually has paint apps on just the tires. The light bar is actually painted, and white doors, which honestly surprised me when I first got the thing off eBay. So, you transform by splitting that apart, and then those just kind of move up, and those are his arms. It's a pretty weird looking robot mode with fish lips going on here, but overall, I really like it. It's got pretty massive arms that you can use for long reach combat, and grabber hands. But it's kind of hard to even stand up. His legs are slightly smaller than the arm. His legs are actually smaller than the arms, so you gotta do some clever posing. Personally, I like to have him gorilla walk like this, because you can actually kind of do that with the toy. But whatever. Everyone's favorite Ironhide, which, just like Ratchet, surprised me that we're getting Ironhide. Like I made a wish list for Wave 3, which included Ratchet, Ironhide, Jazz, and Bone Crusher. Glad to see that at least 2 of the 4 were fulfilled. There's still no Jazz on the way. That sucks. In fact, they're not even making a Studio Series Bone Crusher. Seriously, make a new Bone Crusher. It's what the fans want. I think so anyway. But whatever. Ironhide. And so, you just split the front bumper apart, and then bam. And, I don't know, his face looks kind of derp, but other than that, it's a pretty nice looking figure. And I do like how actually they sculpted the cannons onto him and gave him paint apps. And because of the way he transforms, you can even have little vehicle mode cannons for a little vehicular combat there, if you're into that. I really like this figure, and I'm glad they released it, but the face is just, ugh. Sky Rage Starscream. Now, I made a joke when they first released Sky Camo. It's like, oh, I bet they're going to release a Skywarp toy next and call it Space Camo Starscream or something like that. But then they got Sky Rage, which is meant to homage a very obscure Seeker from G1 called Red Wing, who's just Red Starscream. So, I guess you could repurpose this as him. This is Red Wing. I like the purple eyes, that's pretty cool looking, but it's just a red Starscream, nothing special. Here's another Drift. This is meant to be his Age of Extinction colors. So, you know. And similar to his past figure, soulless gold eyes. Why can't they just... Seriously, is it too hard to make the face and eyes a separate color? And this is definitely my favorite figure of the line, just because of how unique it is compared to the others. Like I said, I love Lockdown from the first wave. So here we have Phantom Strike Lockdown, the only transparent tiny turbo changer as of now. Sure, it means the plastic is a lot flimsier, and I feel like the arms are going to break off any second, but it's an invisibility power-up for your already existing Lockdown figure, and it looks awesome. No paint apps whatsoever, because he is freaking invisible. Wreak havoc with your Autobots by making him, like, by having him haunt your Autobot, by having him haunt Optimus or something, I don't know. But it's really unique, and I can't really show you the beauty of it on camera. At least not very well. I don't know, I'm trying to get the light to go through it. Why is there this huge glare here? I don't know what the point of that is. So here we have the last one, Wave 4, which I found at my local Dillon's about a week ago. And honestly, I was surprised it's out this early. I was expecting to wait like 2 years for it to come out or something. But then when it was first announced, I'm like, okay, so they got some toys or like some characters in the Bumblebee movie. So I bet it's going to come out around the same time as the Bumblebee toy line. I was actually right. They had a whole bunch of Bumblebee toys, as well as Cyberverse Wave 2 at my local Dillon's about a week ago. Like, I made a joke when I walked in, ooh, I bet they're going to have Tiny Turbo Changers Wave 4. Probably not, but they actually did. So I dropped about $40, because they just happen to have all 12. So here we have new mold of Bumblebee. What? Anyway, so this is meant to be this is his body from Bumblebee. He transforms the same way as Ironhide, except his arms, I don't know, let me compare and contrast Ironhide's toy here. So, at least Ironhide's arms kind of drake to the side, but here it's just kind of, due to how wide the car mode is. Its arms can't really touch the sides, but it's actually pretty accurate to the animation model, I'd say, besides this. And if I were to repurpose this, I would repurpose this as Goldbug. Yeah. Yeah, this is an okay figure. So they decided to release the other two Age of Extinction Dinobots. So we got Strafe. Actually, no, sorry, Swoop. God, I get the trademark. Actually, yeah, it's like, so the character is actually called Strafe, but this toy is called Swoop because of reasons. And this is in his Age of Extinction blue. It's kind of the same metallic blue color as the Thundercracker figure, or sorry, Sky Camo Starscream. And this is the official configuration shown in the instructions, which, by the way, it looks like Strafe is just clutching his chest from nausea. So if you want to really create a nice pterodactyl mode, you fold these legs down, because they can do that, and you fold those up, and bam, there. That looks more like a pterodactyl, I'd say. And if you really want to make him fly, just, I mean, sure, he has wings jutting out of his back or his stomach, but it looks pretty good. And that's just a fan-made thing I made. It's not in the official instructions, I don't think. So transform him. You just fold his wings back, which is kind of hard to do because it's a little head crest, but it's easier to do it if you fold it like that. And then his little pterodactyl hands rotate. And I do like the wings coming out of the back. I think it looks pretty cool. Leg articulation. But it's kind of the same thing with this old Target Master figure. Instead of having them on a nice swivel, just got this little C-clamp that does not keep it in there very well at all. Like, when I first got the thing out of the bag, it fell out like 80 times. But it's a lot more stable now. Tails jutting out of his butt. And T-Rex, or the pterodactyl hands, hooray! Pretty good paint apps. I really like the 2 blue shades, plus the eyes. That's really nice. So this is Grimlock. It's supposedly meant to homage his G1 self. I don't remember Grimlock homaging... I don't remember G1 Grimlock being a weird, transparent yellow with green. Okay, I lied. Phantom Strike Lockdown isn't the only transparent figure. This is a weird, translucent thing. And I like to repurpose this actually as Slash from the... You remember Slash, that one cut Dinobot from the film? And it's got this weird green look. I'm not a big fan of it. It doesn't really go together very well, but red eyes, why couldn't they have put that in the weird black Grimlock? But, you know, pretty solid Grimlock deco, I guess. Just transparent, doesn't really hold together very well. But still, I like it. Dropkick. One of the new Decepticons in the Bumblebee movie, and he's just a redeco of Cogman. Why? What were they thinking? So, transform same as Cogman. Actually, before we transform, I really do like the black on the back of his car. That looks awesome. It looks just freaking awesome. And, yeah, the eyes kind of haunt you. And, you know how I said the Autobot symbol missing on Cogman is a good thing? Well, it is, because he's a Decepticon. Just imagine if he had an Autobot symbol. That would have been hilarious. He does look really neat. Does look amazing. So here we have Ratchet. This is meant to homage G1 also. And it's kind of like a silver, so... I don't know, in Dark of the Moon, there was this, I think, like, the Cyberverse Ratchet toy got a lunar redeco or something stupid like that. And it looks a lot like that, just with a red grill. Like, well, why do they have to keep that? But, yeah, I don't know. If they released it in white, it would have been a better G1 homage. But, yeah, it's just a silver Ratchet. And if I were to repurpose this into anything, I decided to repurpose this into IDW Comics exclusive character Pharma, being a traitorous Autobot medic who is now a Decepticon or something, I don't know. That's what I would do. Pharma. Here we have Revenge of the Fallen Megatron, one of the most underwhelming figures from the line. I'll talk about that later. Pretty interesting looking tank mode. I do like how they actually followed up on the animation mode by having his head right there. That's pretty clever, but his tank mode was not like this in the film. So transform it, do this, and then this folds, or like this rotates there. Rotate his cannon arm down, and then head. See, this is an underwhelming figure because, I mean, look at this. What do you expect to be here? This looks like a hinge, right? It looks like a hinge on the top, but no articulation whatsoever. It doesn't even just do this. Like, what were they thinking? Why make it look like a hinge? If it doesn't, like, seriously, why? Well, I guess if you can say one good thing about this figure, that is one of the only tiny turbo changers who can actually look around. His fusion cannon's pretty cool, I guess. And he has a painted Decepticon symbol, so that's a necessity. Big freaking feet. This robot mode's pretty accurate to the animation model, I guess, but his tank mode just sucks, and his arm just makes it a really disappointing figure for me. Chopper mode Dropkick. So if you don't know, the villains in the Bumblebee movie, Shatter and Dropkick, are Decepticon triple changers, with Dropkick transforming into both a car and a helicopter, and Shatter being both a car and a jet, which there's no jet mode Shatter in this line. And it's just black out and blue. real nice. I guess, I don't know, I've come up with a nickname for this figure, Chop Kick instead of Drop Kick. Also painted the Decepticon symbol, again. That's a real necessity. Gotta have those symbols painted. G1 homaging Optimus, except it's really neon, it doesn't work. Really, it's just this weird looking Optimus. It gets even worse in the robot mode. What the frick? No eye paint. So I would just call this like a Super Saiyan Optimus, pretty much. That's what I would classify it as. Oh yeah, Dragon Storm, the dragon from the last night, doesn't actually have a robot mode. This is another underwhelming figure. It has a very complex transformation. So what you want to do is you want to rotate these wings so that they're facing there. His head just kind of rotates around. That goes, and then the hind legs just fold up. Oh, this goes down, I guess. And my problem, he has no arm articulation at all. So you can't really do much with this figure. Also, let's just compare him to Optimus. Oh yeah, real nice scale there. So like he's so small compared to Optimus. This is the smallest tiny turbochanger, I think. Okay, you can't really see it very well on camera, but yeah, there's a bit of size comparison. But in the film, he's this massive beast. Why? It baffles me. Also, Autobot symbol. This is Soundwave and a G1 homage with nice deep blue metallic paint. Can't really see it very well on camera, but it's nice metallic. It looks really cool. But guess what? Same exact paint apps as on the regular Soundwave. Just eyes and tires. But really nice. Here's Shatter, just a redeco of the Wave 3 first movie Barricade, but with more paint ups. Same black stripe, but the hood's also black, and that looks freaking awesome. And then, yeah. Seriously, are they allergic to eye paint or something? Last one on the line, we got Scorn. And that's also in his Age of Extinction Red. And it's a really weird looking Spinosaurus minifig. Spinosaurus figure. So you fold the arms down, rotate that forward, and then you fold both the arms down and the head rotates. I do like how they actually gave him his little whip arm that he had in the film. But I mean, come on. I mean, he can still move his head, just like the Megatron figure. And I do kind of like this little shoulder pad thing. And extra set of arms. But I feel like his waist is going to snap in half at any second. Especially with the soft plastic. It just feels really unstable. So Wave 4, I'd say, is kind of a disappointment. Just because of lack of articulation. Some of the figures just make no sense whatsoever. And most of them, like the Dinobots, are relatively unstable. So, this has been a really long video. I'm sorry for any inconveniencing that you may have. But it's over now, so I guess that's nice. So, thank you for sticking with me through the whole hiatus thing. I'll try to get this video up as soon as I can. And I should try and start doing more videos. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!